Alright, Kenny, what are you getting done today, man?
Typically I get a taper, but I might change it up, man. I might do like a low drop.
A low drop fade? Okay, we could do a low drop fade. And then anything off the top?
Yeah, so probably like half an inch.
About a half an inch? Okay, and do you prefer keeping your C cups or just fade it out? Keep a C cup? Alright, bro, let's do it. Right, thank you. YouTube, what's going on, guys? Thank you for checking out another video. We're gonna start this haircut with the top, and I'm pretty much gonna cut the hair to the way that it's styled. I'm gonna clean up the section and use this little section right here as my guide for the length and the shape of the rest of the top. Now, because this is disconnected, once I've cut this profile section to the length I want, I'm also gonna go ahead and do block graduation here to determine the length that we want here at the parietal ridge that's disconnected from the top, because this is a side part comb over, and so that's important. Now, we're taking a little piece of that initial guideline that we cut in the beginning, and that's going to be our guide for the rest of the cut. And we're just cutting the hair straight across. You guys can see I have my guideline, and whatever is on top, I'm just matching to that guideline. And we're doing this all the way through. The smaller sections you take, the more even the cut is going to be when you are done. Okay, and because I realized what his hair texture is like, we are going to cut 90 degrees here as we get to his right side, so it doesn't look like too refined or like too hard of a ridge, right? All right, once we've done that, we're gonna use our number 4 guard, and we're gonna go ahead and start to clear the bulk. I already knew that this lower drop fade is going to have to be more like a medium low fade, just because when you look at the sides of, and especially his hairline, you can see the difference in density. It's much lighter, and so in order to be able to match that and make it look like a fluid blend to the rest of his hair, we're gonna have to go up a little bit higher in certain areas. All right, so at this point, I'm gonna contour his head shape, doing scissor over comb, and the reason again is because I want to avoid having too hard of a ridge that this hair texture typically will end up having if you cut everything too squared. Now, it's still gonna look squared, it's just gonna lay softer at the ridge. Hopefully that makes sense. And so what I'm doing is I'm using my comb to kind of create that rounded contoured shape. You guys can see that soft, the way it's laying softly as opposed to having too hard of a ridge.
Tito, let's get it.
All right, so once we've completed that, we're gonna go ahead and grab our number 2 guard. And look already the different shades of black you're getting here. We've cut everything to a number 2, but certain areas look darker and longer than others. So we're gonna have to gauge that throughout the process and just make sure it's not looking like a really spotty fade, which is gonna be difficult to do. We're gonna take a lot of time detailing. All right, we're gonna start our initial guideline. I'm gonna keep it low, but again, remember, we're gonna have to stretch this fade out pretty much. We're gonna drop this initial guideline as we get to the back. Do the same thing on this side. All right, so we've already put some guidelines in. You guys know that's the blade open that created that section. And because we use a number 2 to clear the bulk here, we're gonna use our 1.5 guard in this area to fade down. So we're gonna start open with the 1.5 guide, and then we're gonna go closed. These guidelines are just gonna help me stay organized and not get lost, especially since we're definitely gonna have to go up in certain parts higher than others. This is the 1 guard, and it's closed, it's open and then closed, right beneath where we left off with that 1.5 guard. At this point it is closed, and you can see that that first guideline is starting to disappear, but once we drop down to that half guard, it's gonna help out a bunch. And he's got indents right here in that area where I'm cutting right now. There's a little indent. It's important in this area where the C cup is to make sure you're going down with when you're fading, because you want to keep that C cup area dark.
Damn it, Tito. Another one?
And look, like I saw this area was a little dark, right? So I'm gonna really work in it with my corners of my clipper of my blade in that area just to lighten it up some. All right, so now we can go ahead and start to take this bottom line out, and we're going clipper all the way closed and opening it little by little as we go up. Yeah, this cut was not easy in my opinion. So because I took that bottom line out, what I did fading down that process, I kind of redid fading up just to kind of cross check the fade. And I can still see some imperfections, but you know, that's one of those things. Once we line it lining it up and stuff, we'll be able to manage. And you guys know how I like to fade in that angle. All right, so let's go ahead and do this side, and same thing on this side. You can definitely see a difference in shades of black, so we know we're gonna have to do a lot of what we did on his left side. So I created my sections with my blade open, and now we're kind of debulking and fading down with that number 3 guard. We're gonna skip the 2 guard, use the 1.5 guard all the way open.
Tito, let's get it.
1.5 guard is closed now. So you got to be careful that near his hairline area, you're not fading up too high, because it's going to be hard to get the rest of his head to match. So for example, now this side right here, the left side, is going to be hard to match the right side because of the density difference. So I'll have to raise this side just a little bit to get it to flow and to just make it look like it's not spotty or uneven. And so I'm using my number 1 guard all the way closed. And then now we're going to go ahead and start to take that bottom line out. And it's the same process, all the way closed and open it little by little until it's faded. And like I always tell you guys, fading from this angle is super important. And look, I'm gonna have to raise it a little bit on this area just to get this dark spot right here a little bit lighter so that it flows better. And you can see I'm really focusing in that area. So all I really did was I went up higher with that one guard and then faded down from there. Now I'm at my half guard in that area, blade open in that area, and then closing it little by little until it's faded. And then with the 1.5 guard close, I'm just looking for darker areas that I can clean up. And remember, we skipped that 2 guard. We're going back with that number 2. The reason why I skipped it is because I didn't want to end up stretching it too much. So that number 2 is just kind of cleaning up little areas that look like they haven't faded into that 3. All right, and now we're just gonna tie everything over into the back. Man, my client here, super cool dude, man. He's in the military, and he brought me a patch. He brought me a t-shirt. I just thought it was so dope, and the patch looks so cool, man. I wish I could show it to you guys. It says 50th Air Refueling. Just really dope. So just wanted to shout him out for you know, number 1 for serving our country, and number 2 for the gift. All right, so his C cup we definitely had to do cosmetic because it was already cosmetic. And I get it, you know, some people want that sharp look, and to keep it dark and just make the blend pop. Me personally, I would have, if I had him as a long-term client, we would try to grow it in a little bit fuller and finesse it a little bit with like a shadow taper kind of look, right, to try to make it look darker, his C cup darker than it really is. But we just went ahead and made it cosmetic to match how it really was already done. I don't think it's too bad of a look, man. He's in the military. He gets his hair cut probably every week, twice a week, you know. Alright guys, so we put some clay in his hair, and now we're gonna go ahead and style it. This technique right here, especially with his hair texture, was super important because there's always hairs that want to grow, especially if you can see his hair growth pattern. It grows out towards his hairline, so it's good to kind of freehand those hairs that want to grow over his hairline with the shears and then line it up. And of course, we enhanced it. We used Tomb 45 no drip. You can get it at tomb45.com, and I think it made a nice difference in the cut, man. It made it pop some more. And guys, so that was the before. This is the after. Very difficult canvas in my opinion. I ain't gonna sugarcoat it, you know, but we did the best that we could, and hopefully you guys like the cut. Let me know in the comments what you thought. Smash that like button, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe. We drop daily content. Every day we dropping something. Every day.